Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. We are Electric Bike Report. My name's John.
And I'm Griffin.
And we're doing something a little bit different today. This is going to be a little bit more of an informal entertainment kind of show for you. You know, most of the time we're up here giving very serious and professional style reviews, but we wanted to be a little bit more personal. So we've got a list of things that we want to run through with you today. We have a pretty cool show put together, we think. We're going to start off kind of looking at some cool and funny e-bike finds that we've stumbled across on the internet recently. We're going to cover some news posts, things that have happened in the industry over the past couple weeks. We'll talk a little bit about the bikes that we currently have in testing, as well as some recent reviews that have gone live on our website and on YouTube over the past couple weeks. And then we're going to also dive in and highlight some bike infrastructure, and we plan to do that in different locations every time we have a show. Today we're going to start with what we have here where we live.
Yeah, kind of add to that bucket list of places to go out and ride the e-bike, you know. It'll be cool to highlight those. In addition to that, we're also going to be diving into some questions and comments that you have on YouTube. We do our best to answer those, and there's a lot that come in, but of course, some of them are worth kind of like talking about just a little bit more in depth, kind of expanding on. So this is going to be an opportunity to kind of pick a few of those each week and kind of go over some of the questions that you guys have. So make sure you're leaving comments on all those videos. We're also going to be hitting some of the e-bike deals of the week that we're finding, as well as we also want to start highlighting some of like our audience. Like,
absolutely, you
guys are out there doing really cool stuff in the world of e-bikes, customizing, modding, just having fun adventures. So I want to give an opportunity to kind of like showcase some of that too. But we're really excited for the show. The working title we have right now is Recharge Your Batteries. Not set in stone. We're open to better ideas. So by all means, if you got a good one, throw it our way in the comments. But yeah, I'm really excited. Should we get into it then?
Let's dive in.
Go. All right, now let's take a look at some of our favorite e-bike finds from the internet this week.
All right.
Okay, first
Let
up.
you steer here.
First up, who do we got? Let's see, Electric Vehicle Space on Instagram. Look at this dude.
He's hauling it.
Dude, he's booking it. And like, how tall is he? Like, he could be sitting on that fence. That saddle height is insane.
Gotta have a great view though.
You could see over a truck with that thing. You could pick any lane that opens up to you. That's awesome. Way to go, guy.
Yeah, seriously. Backpack full of pizzas and all.
You gotta get there in 30 minutes or less or else it's free, you know? Okay. Next up, Austin Keen on Instagram. What do we got going on here?
All right.
He's vibing. Hang on.
Walking fast, faces past,
making my way downtown, walking fast, feeling
The vibe transfers from solo to...
Can I get some wax? Cold water is good.
We're on
Thank you.
people. Be normal. No songs in my head.
Majestic, yes.
Look at that. So much flair. I freaking love it. That's the best use of 1,000 miles since Terry Crews and White Chicks.
I haven't seen it, but yep, take your word for it.
Classic, man. You gotta check that one out next. Okay. Next up, we've got Tony Bao, and Specialized. He is doing cargo e-bike tricks. That is hard to do. Those things are big and heavy.
That is the last bike I would have expected to see in this video.
Oh, he's nosing in. That's, wow. Dude, kudos to you.
Seriously, I like my teeth intact, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on doing any tricks on that one.
Yep. All right.
Okay, who do we got up next? Okay, WMX Outdoorsman on Instagram.
Nice.
He is right. Okay, we got some hunting e-bike action going on. We got some
Enjoying
bow
the
hunting.
Great outdoors.
Wait. Oh, we're hauling. Oh, he's got
That's a canoe on 2 trailers?
He's got a canoe.
Yeah, I like that.
That is, ooh, that's awesome. There's a test we can incorporate. How much can we tow with this bike?
Sign me up. That looks like fun.
Okay, next up over in Facebook groups, Anthony Davis. Is that a tricked out jackrabbit?
Yeah, this is from the Jackrabbit Owners Facebook group. I personally just really love seeing everything from this group. Everybody got some cool mods. They tweak and customize their bikes. And to be clear, it's not technically an e-bike, but still very cool and fun to ride.
Look at all that he's done to it. Okay, caption here. Air suspension forks. Thank you, jacked e-bike mod. Suspension seat post, high-rise bar, mega foot pedals, upgrades done, new wide front tire on the way, leaning towards a new seat. That's awesome.
That is cool.
Tiny bike, but not a tiny imagination. He's tricked that thing out. Cool. Okay, next up, now we're in an event in Facebook group, Rise A Hawks. My bike fell over and the rear rack broke, so I had to, right?
Yeah, that's all good.
I don't know, it could be European. Oh, the rack broke. We're using slotted kitchen spoons.
That's cool. And that'll come in handy if you go camping.
multi-purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness he had 2 of the same size matches on either side.
That actually looks pretty structural. Like, good job.
Yeah, okay,
Nice.
Rise or Reese, let us, like, what's the update, man? Like, let us know how it's going. Is it, like, holding up? All right, okay, next up, Uncle Ben. Let's see, with great power and great range comes a heavy-ass e-bike. Uncle Ben always delivering truth bombs right there.
This is true.
As someone who has had several of the really heavy e-bikes die on range tests, folks always make sure the batteries are charged. They're very heavy to pedal.
And that is from 11 Spearhead 11 on r/ebikes.
That's right. Okay. Next up, still on Reddit, amazing e-bike camouflage box bike.
Is that a filing cabinet?
I don't.
Power box? I don't.
Oh, Powerbox, urban environment,
That's cool.
camouflage. You're freaking love it. You just gotta make sure like no one sees you park it though, because then like secret's out. But that's
So
genius.
Probably don't want to wreck. That might hurt. A
What
little
is-
extra.
What is up with Homeboy's outfit though?
That's very cool. Wow.
He looks like a zookeeper.
And that
Anyway.
was from Johnny Carcinogenic on the same r/ebikes.
And then one last one from r/ebike. Let's see. Freshly converted stealth build. Look at this retro thing. Oh, that is rad.
So we've got a water bottle that's a battery.
Yeah, I think that water bottle is actually a battery,
Where's the motor?
sneakily upgraded. I'm not sure what the motor is, but
That looks awesome.
that
dude.
frame is sweet. That's like all of the good of 70s design when you can get all the browns and tans and stuff working that way. That's sweet.
Stealthy, lightweight. Yes, love it. This is from Nadius X on the same Reddit thread or subreddit. Yeah. there
Right
we go.
on, man.
Okay.
Keep them coming. I want to see more stealth builds like that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome finds of the week.
By the way, if you guys stumble across anything, feel free to send it over to us on social media channels. We will take a look at it here. All right, so now we're going to take a look at some news of the week, just various posts that we've come across. And we're going to go back a little bit in time here just because it's been fairly quiet in the e-bike industry recently. But to start off, earlier in October, Specialized released the Turbovato SL2, which we actually got our hands on. We got to review.
That bike was all kinds of fun, super sleek. That thing just rode like a dream. That was
It was
awesome.
fantastic. More recently, though, Specialized announced the Turbovato 5.0 that includes Garmin radar. So if you're using that for commuting, the bike will let you know when a car is kind of coming up on you.
Yeah.
Seems
Looks like
very
they're not
useful.
done with the Turbovato 1.0 then, giving it some new life, adding some safety tech. What's not to love?
All for that, absolutely. Next up, we have the MyRider 20-inch e-bike. So this is a British company that makes folding e-bikes. They've kind of done a 16-inch and a 24-inch version of this bike already, but this one has the sort of in-between
Jumping in the
20-inch
middle,
wheels.
yeah.
Yep. It's got a very cool 3-speed gearbox. It's got a mid-drive.
A lot of cool stuff about it. This like rear monoshock thing too looks really promising, and I've heard nothing but good things about the MyRider. So hopefully we can get one in to test sometime. That'd be really cool. Check it out.
Be fantastic. I'm on board. Next
All right,
up.
so let's see next. So this one was a big deal. So the National Park Service study found that e-bike inclusion on existing bike trails won't have a significant impact to the environment or the visitor experience. So this was
That's excellent.
that was a big deal to me because a lot of people just kind of naturally assume like, oh, like we put more e-bikes on trails, it's going to destroy the trails.
Right.
But straight from the National Park Service, like I read the study at length. Their findings didn't find that it does any extra harm or anything like that. So that's going to be really cool. Like right now, the national parks, every superintendent gets to decide whether or not e-bikes get to go there or not.
Okay,
So hopefully with this survey now out there, that's going to open up more opportunities. We're going to see more e-bikes in national park, more people get out and enjoy awesome parks. So
That sounds
I think that's a
awesome.
total win.
Especially with us being so close to Zion National Park here, we see a ton of e-bikes out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's great if that opportunity can be extended to everybody that lives near or visits a national park.
More people can
Go for
catch
it.
the e-bike wave, the better.
Yep.
So this one was kind of interesting. So this one is an obituary in bicycle retailer. Legendary Chicago retailer Ron Cozy passes at 82. But the story in here that I found really interesting was actually how he was really good at upselling, kind of like a really like retail pioneer in some ways. So listen to
Okay.
this. From the article, most famously, he bought himself a Rolls Royce with the proceeds from selling kickstands. That's right, kickstands, at a
Kickstands.
very high
Okay.
margin with every bike sold in his stores. He wasn't showing off, he was educating fellow dealers, his son Paul had said. He would tell people that when you sell 5,000 bikes a year and you sell a kickstand with everyone, you can pay for a Rolls Royce. He later in life bought a Jaguar and a Mercedes off of just kickstand revenues.
We are in the wrong business, my friend.
Apparently so. I should just be selling kickstands. On the one hand, like that would like drive me nuts if I go buy a car and then I have to buy the keys later. It just feels like it should come with it. But like respect and tip of the hat or tip of the helmet to the retail OG here.
Definitely.
Pointing to your, Rolls Royce and being like, I bought that with kickstands. I mean, whew, baller move.
Well, sad day, but very cool. Speaking of sad days, the last story that we have to cover here is about Juiced Bikes. So unfortunately, they recently went bankrupt, but the company did get purchased at auction this week for $1.2 million. We don't know who the buyer is, but hopefully they can kind of breathe some new life back into the brand. I know we tested a few of their bikes. We really liked them. The brand has a big following, so it'd be great to see them back out there.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see kind of like where things go from here. I'm definitely gonna miss them. There's a lot I liked about Juice Bikes. What are you gonna kind of miss about them if they don't stick around?
Man, I mean, they're just kind of iconic in the space, but they're very fast. They're fun to ride. I mean, Juiced, the name is what the bikes are.
The name is kind of what you get. Yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely agree. I'm gonna have to maybe pick up like a used Rip Racer or something like somewhere and add that to the e-bike stable. I mean, that thing was just such a fun little pocket rocket.
Absolutely was. Yeah.
So that'll do it for the highlights of the news this week.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's do an update on the review front.
What do we got?
Well, we got a couple in testing right now. So first up, let's see, the Machwheel Obsidian ST.
Ooh, that's on my plate.
Yeah, that one's gonna be for you, but I really thought it was cool because this one, it's step through, of course, but that rear suspension and linkage, like it's really beefy, really burly, less flexy than you kind of expect from fat tires and step through frames. But
that's cool. I haven't actually really hopped on that bike yet, but I'm glad you've gotten to try it.
You're gonna have some fun when you do.
Okay.
We also have the Blix Soul X. So this one is really cool. You're kind of familiar with it already because you just reviewed the Vika not too long ago.
Yes, awesome bike, a lot of fun.
But lots of really cool technology that Blix is putting in there. The electronic shifting, auto shifting, just lots of really cool stuff that's kind of coming from them. Can't wait to see how it does when we're through all the tests on that one. I think it's mid-range test right now.
Okay. Really like their trajectory lately. Very good.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of cool stuff. And then we are actually re-reviewing the Velotric Discover 2 because they dropped a whole bunch of software updates that are kind of changing up the bike, so we felt it was worth kind of diving back into it again.
That was on my plate. So yeah, Velotric released a firmware update that allows you to switch between torque and cadence sensing modes now. I didn't even know that was something you could do with a firmware update. I thought that was really more of a hardware thing, so pretty excited about that one.
I was like, yeah, that's just pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, let's see, I am working on the Ceres MHS. It's a hitch rack review.
Okay, you've had a lot of those recently.
We've done a lot of those this summer, so check all those out if you haven't. But this one's really cool because it's a little bit unique. The MHS stands for Modular Hitch System.
Okay.
So you can actually kind of like outfit it different ways. You can like have bikes on there. You can have like a cargo basket on there, a mix of bikes and cargo.
Wow.
And they promise a vague future of, like updates and stuff. So if I had to place my money on anything, I'd say maybe like ski, snowboard, hauling stuff. Lots of cool things you can do with the rack. So really excited to get that review live.
Wow.
But speaking of live reviews, we have had a few go live in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Which ones did we have?
So first one on the list is actually one of yours. That is the Psych Falcon X,
yeah.
which was sort of a EMTB / all-terrain, big, heavy, beefy bike.
Big, heavy, beefy behemoth, all-terrain, all-season, all-power. That had a lot of power, and I really liked it.
I was a little bit jealous that you got to review that one, to be honest. But next up, we have the Specialized Turbo Vado SL2, which I reviewed, and that went live a little bit ago.
Speaking of being jealous over reviewing bikes, I was jealous we got that one. That one was really awesome.
I was very happy to have my hands on that bike. Also a lot of fun. Also just looked really cool. And then lastly was your Yamaha YDX Moro 07 Special Edition, which, very cool EMTB. Unique look. I don't know if that's for everybody, but...
Divisive. Chrome's not for everyone in the mountain biking scene, but it was like really cool. I thought the bike was a lot of fun, had some unique stuff to it, and it happens to be on like a killer like sale right now. Probably we're gonna highlight that later in deals.
Absolutely.
Little preview. Really, really good deal with that bike, so go check that one out too.
Yeah, and that wraps up kind of everything that we've got going on and in the recent past.
All right, let's talk a little bit about trail systems and just like really awesome bike-friendly places to go to,
Yes,
for this section, we really want to focus on just finding like either hidden gems or just some bucket list destinations, places that are great to take your e-bike to and just enjoy the scenery or just enjoy a little bit of peace getting away from cars and whatnot.
Even if you have like a cool downtown bike lane system, like that's incorporated in this too.
I was gonna say
everything.
The United States could always use better, like bike systems everywhere.
Yeah.
So we want to highlight and shout it out when we come across it. And where better to start than in our own backyard? So let's highlight a little bit, what St. George has going on.
So if you're not familiar, we are based in St. George, Utah, kind of the very southwest corner of the state by the border of Nevada and Arizona. And we are super fortunate to have this awesome trail system here. It's called the Virgin River Trail System. So right now it primarily runs along the Virgin River here in St. George. There's about 60 miles of paved bike path currently, with more always being added. They actually just put in a new segment just down the street from the office to kind of link up some things, and they're continuing that. But this is where we do all of our testing, and it's a beautiful place. It's range testing, speed testing, everything happens out there. And also we just head out there for leisure rides.
Yeah, exactly. So, shout out to St. George, to Washington County, to Southern Utah Bicycle Alliance, Suba. Shout out, love you guys. It's just really awesome. We're not too far from Zion. It's always good cycling there. So there's really cycling friendly place to live. That's awesome. Not everywhere in America has that. So, it's nice we get to celebrate it. But again, let us know. We've got some, lined up that we're going to be looking at over the coming weeks into the next episodes.
Yep.
But we're always really curious, what are the hidden gems? Like, what are you proud of, like in your own backyard? Comment, tag us on social, let us know what you're finding. We'll definitely look into them and see if we can highlight those as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so in this next section, we're going to take a look at some of our comments from YouTube, maybe occasionally from the website as well. But we get a lot of questions all the time. A lot of them are repeats.
And we get some recurring ones, and then we get some really cool, insightful ones that kind of spawn this whole thread and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of those that we highlighted this week.
A little bit of both today. So starting off, this is from For the Win AK from YouTube, and the question is, what's the app you have on the phone mounted to the bike? And so they're asking about specifically in our speed test sections when we have a speedometer app going at the same time. We usually reference the bike's display, but just for comparison, we have this app. So that is the Speedometer Simple app by someone named Tefik Yusek. I believe I'm saying that correctly. But we've tried a bunch of these, and that one seemed to be the best.
I think at one point I had 12 different free speedometer apps on my phone. I was just kind of hopping between them all to see what worked most consistently and had the least amount of ads. And that's kind of the one I think we landed on that just seemed to work the best. It's not perfect, but it's just a good kind of a constant to have, on the speed tests. So it's
a free app. We found that it kind of tends to take a second to catch up with the bike. Maybe not completely consistent all the time, but it's done the job so far.
Yeah, cool. All right, next comment. So this was a really long thread that we actually had published on the Turbo Votto SL review that you did.
We're talking about that.
Fair to say there's a little bit of sticker shock from some people. A lot of discourse. So let's take a look. One of the comments in there from Texas Pride 7556. Specialized and Trek are clueless. I live in a 55 and up community, 7,000 people. Everyone here buys a vent in class 3, 1,200 to 1,799, 28 miles per hour, thumb throttle when needed, comfortable seats, and front shock standard. No brainer.
And to clarify, the price of the model that we reviewed was about $6,500.
Yes.
I think it went up to about $8,000 on the high end, and I think $6,000 on the
a special
low
edition
end.
or something that they had, yeah.
Yeah. So then we had a response here from someone named Nappy Lopez, I believe. So with all due respect, this line of thinking makes no sense to me. Nobody bats an eye when someone chooses to buy a Porsche over a Civic. But when it comes to e-bikes, it seems everyone thinks you can only shop from the bargain bin. Some people are willing to spend more for a better product that meets their needs, especially if their bike is replacing a car.
Yeah, and so this is, we actually see this type of comment a lot, especially when we do these more, expensive, higher end e-bike reviews, and people are like, why aren't you commenting on it? Like other things exist. So for us, we're here to review basically every e-bike under the sun. We're hoping to get them, test them, talk about them, just kind of share our findings.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is there's different price tiers for a reason. Some people are willing to pay more for something that's a little bit more refined, in this case, the carbon frame and all that. And sometimes, I really liked the car comparison that was in there, a Porsche versus a Civic.
Definitely.
Because it's
they appeal to different audiences.
They appeal to different audiences, and you can say they do the same things essentially, but the Porsche might have marginally better things and might have greatly differences in some of the features. But again, it just kind of comes down to what works for you, what you're happy like paying for, and in terms of what you're getting. So yeah, for us, like, I mean, I personally thought the Specialized bike was really, really nice, really well done.
I agree.
But I also don't think, twice if someone wants to go significantly less and get, like, they mentioned the event in $1,200 to $1,800.
That's
that
the normal
is,
range.
yeah. I think that most bikes that we review are kind of in that $1,000 to $2,000 range. We do see a lot of those high-end ones, but to me, that's just kind of like a mark of how well some of these like newer brands are doing versus the legacy ones, where they're kind of coming in with lower costs, making really good products that really stand out, and in some ways can compete with those higher-end ones. But of course, there are differences at the end of the day, and Specialized has higher prices for a reason.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and I think in the long run, they will kind of push those legacy brands like Trek and Specialized to compete a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But those brands also have a little bit more to worry about than some of these, lifestyle brands. We say this a lot in our reviews, where Specialized, they're a global brand. They have a dedicated R&D department. You hop on a bike from those brands, and it does feel different. Mm-hmm. It's just a natural thing. Everybody here comments on that when it's their first time. So they're also supporting a network of dealers across the world, and so like lowering their prices to compete is probably going to be a little bit more difficult. But we'll see what happens. They might end up having to.
And there might be, cheaper versions of this bike in the future. They started with the carbon one. The previous version, they had an alloy one. We'll see kind of like how it all plays out. But, for us, I guess, to wrap it up, it's kind of different strokes for different folks. Go with what's comfortable for you, what you're happy to pay in terms of what you're getting. So
definitely. And I also do want to make it a point to shout out Aventon because, as far as quality goes, top notch, love their bikes. Everyone that we've tested, we've been huge fans of. Mm-hmm. So way to go. And you're clearly, finding your audience. So.
Cool. So one final comment, and this one is, hello, why haven't you guys reviewed the fill-in-the-blank bike yet?
Get that on every review.
We get that on almost every review and every bike, it seems, and we actually love that comment. That's actually really helpful for us, because for us, I mean, we want to know what our audience is interested in, what you guys want to see us test, so we actually love getting that comment in, and the answer is, well, we haven't gotten to it yet, or we haven't had contact with the brand or something like that.
Sometimes we're not aware of it.
And sometimes there are a lot of e-bike brands out there.
Totally.
It seems like there's more popping up every day. So keep letting us know. But in addition to letting us know, also communicate that to the brand directly. Shoot them an email and stuff like that, because when they start getting emails pouring in saying, we want to see a review of this bike from Electric Bike Report, like put that in their database, let me see how it stacks up. That actually goes a long way in helping us get new products into test. So again, we love those comments. Keep it coming. Let us know what it is you're riding or you're thinking about riding. So.
Also, shameless plug at this point, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you do see when we do get those bikes into test and we publish our reviews. All right, so now we're going to move on to a segment that we are calling Deals of the Week. Deals of the Week, where we take a look at the cool e-bike deals that we've found online recently. So starting things off is a huge one. This is the Yamaha sale that we kind of referenced earlier. Mm-hmm. Pretty crazy.
We previewed that one a little bit. I mean, it's a really good deal. Between $1,800 and $4,000 off certain models, and they're throwing in a free battery on top, meaning you can get like really, really cheap stuff. We're talking, of course, about the Moro and then the Cross Core. Yep. They're kind of more commuter style one, and the Wabash, their road gravel one.
Yep.
And
as
Yamaha,
well as some others.
Yeah, and some others. But like Yamaha does really cool stuff with their motors too, to make them unique. What's that sensor they have in there?
I believe it's called a slope sensor.
Mm-hmm. Gyroscopic, like something can kind of like tell you're on the incline, give you more motor. Like really cool stuff
that you don't find really anywhere else.
Yeah, so great sale there. What else we got?
Next up is Aventon. So the Solterra Point 2, which is their lightweight city bike, is $999 right now. Crazy good deal for that. Really like the torque sensor on that bike.
And I just love a nice round $1,000. It's really easy to get behind.
Totally, yeah. And then we also have the Pace 500 City Cruiser that has an extra battery.
Never going to be mad about getting some extra juice. Yep. So, well, that's awesome. And then over with some of the legacy brands, we've got Specialized. So they've got models anywhere from $250 off to $3,000 off of some of their electric bikes.
Some of the high-end stuff, yeah.
I was like, the high-end stuff is seeing, of course, the biggest discounts. You can get like a S-Works Turbo Levo SL Carbon for $3,000 off. Like in general right now, if you're actually looking at an EMTB, it's a great time to be buying. A lot of people are sitting on inventory. A lot of brands are doing some steep discounts there. Mm-hmm. Or if you're just eyeballing something like a Turbo Vado 3.0, I got $250 off. That's a really awesome bike as well.
For sure, can't go wrong.
Yeah, and then not to be outdone, of course, Specialized Rival Trek. They're doing anywhere from $100 to $3,000 off. $100 is mostly on their Electra line, which is Trek owned. But again, not to be outdone, $3,000 off some of their higher end stuff. So if you're looking at like the Domain SLR, their highest level road and gravel bike, that's getting $3,000 off. So, you know, you serious triathletes of the world and whatnot, people who want the high end bike, now's a good time to look at it.
Definitely. And for the record, you can check out any of those deals down in the links in the video description, and we'll highlight more in the next episode.
So before we wrap things up, we're gonna have another segment in our next episode where we actually highlight, well, maybe you.
Yes.
We wanna highlight some of the things that our audience has going on with their e-bikes. So you can send us, you know, what you love about your e-bike or some things that you're seeing in the e-bike world. We really wanna know kind of like what's going on with you, get some details and some insight. So definitely tag us on social, send us that, and we're gonna highlight a rider each week, talk a little bit about their ride, maybe some cool custom things they've done, some really awesome trails they've explored lately, whatever it may be.
After all, we can't do what we do without you guys, so just really want to show our appreciation. And then at that point, I mean, I don't know about you, I had fun today. Definitely looking for a lot of input from our audience in the future, but looking to kind of keep this show evolving. Let us know down in the comments what you thought worked, maybe what you thought didn't. Yeah, anything to add?
I mean, just kind of like you said, this was a lot of fun for us. It was very different, and I hope it was fun for you following along as well. So for that, if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please make sure to do that, and we'll get you on our next episode.
Thanks again.